You almost sent something today that would have reopened a wound you have spent years trying to close. Maybe it was a message. Maybe it was a cutting reply. Maybe it was the truth spoken in the one way you knew would cause maximum pain, but your hand stopped. You felt the old reaction rise, and for a few silent seconds, it no longer controlled you. Chosen one, heaven was not touched today because you felt no anger. It was touched because anger was no longer allowed to make the decision for you. That pause looked small, but it revealed that an old cycle has begun to lose its authority over your life. Before this message ends, you will understand three things. You will understand what changed inside you today. You will see why kindness does not require abandoning your boundaries. And you will discover why the clarity you accessed can become easier to live from. The deepest part of this message is not simply that God is delighted with what you did. It is what your decision reveals about the person you are becoming. Perhaps you wrote a message and deleted it. Perhaps you chose not to expose a secret. Perhaps you prayed for someone who never apologized. Or perhaps you finally rested instead of proving your value through exhaustion. These actions may look unrelated, yet each one contains the same hidden movement. You felt the pull of an old pattern, and you chose not to obey it. You may still be replaying the moment. You may imagine the sharper words you could have used. You may wonder whether silence made you look weak. But your remaining anger does not cancel your decision. Your mind may still be finishing a reaction that your spirit interrupted. That does not mean you chose wrongly. It means the old pattern was strong enough to speak, but not strong enough to rule. This is the first truth you need tonight. Feeling the reaction is not the same as becoming the reaction. The emotion can rise, the memory can burn, the body can tighten, and still, your next move can come from wisdom instead of pain. So ask yourself one honest question. Was today only a good moment? Or was it evidence that an older version of you is losing power? Look at what happened. Something provoked you. Your body prepared for battle. Your mind offered familiar weapons. But somewhere inside, a quieter voice became stronger than the urge to strike back. That voice did not erase the wound. It did not excuse the person. It did not pretend everything was fine. It simply refused to let your pain decide what your future would contain. This is why the moment mattered. You did not win because someone else lost. You won because the past did not get to repeat itself through you. Write this in the comments. The cycle stops with me. Do not write it to impress anyone. Write it because naming a choice helps your mind recognize it when the next moment comes. The cycle stops with me. You are not claiming perfection. You are claiming responsibility. What happened before may explain your reaction, but it does not have to own your response. Now, we must go deeper. The true meaning of today was hidden inside a few silent seconds. What exactly changed when you did not react? The answer begins in the space between what hurt you and what you chose next. That space has a name. Once you understand it, you will never see your restraint the same way again. Your heart was racing. Your jaw may have tightened. Your fingers were ready to move. Every familiar sentence appeared at once, and each one promised relief if you would only release it. Then something happened. You paused. That pause was not empty. It was not confusion. It was not weakness. It was the moment when your values stepped between the wound and the response. This is what I call the heaven-touching pause. It is the space where pain is still present, but pain is no longer in command. You feel the old reaction, yet you choose from a deeper place. Many people misunderstand this moment. They think strength means speaking first. They think power means making the other person feel what they caused. They think silence always belongs to fear. But restraint can hold enormous power. You may have known exactly what to say. You may have known where their deepest insecurity lived. You simply decided not to use that knowledge as a weapon. That is not defeat. That is self-command. You did not deny the truth. You did not say the wound was acceptable. You did not surrender your right to set a boundary. You only refused to become cruel to prove that you were hurt. There is a difference between suppressing emotion and governing it. Suppression says the anger cannot exist. Wisdom says the anger can exist, but it cannot drive. This is why being slow to speak and slow to anger matters. It does not ask you to become passive. It asks you to remain present long enough for discernment to enter. The old version of you may have reacted instantly. That version learned to survive through speed. It believed that striking first was protection, because hesitation once felt dangerous. But today, the pause became safer than the reaction. Your body remembered the old road, but your spirit chose another direction. Say this quietly: I did not give my pain permission to speak for me. That sentence does not shame your pain. It places the pain in its proper position, as something you can hear without making it your authority. Imagine the next difficult moment. The name appears on your screen. The familiar tone enters their voice. Your body feels the first spark, but now you recognize it before it becomes a fire. You breathe once. You wait. You choose words that protect truth without feeding destruction. The situation is hard, but you are no longer absent from your own decision. That is the future hidden inside today. Pause. Not a life without triggers. Not a life where everyone treats you fairly. A life where the trigger does not automatically choose the consequence. You felt the old fire. You simply refused to let it choose your future. That is why heaven could be delighted with what happened. Not because you became emotionless, not because you accepted mistreatment, but because mercy and strength occupied the same moment. You were capable of causing pain, and you chose not to. You were capable of repeating the cycle, and you interrupted it. You were capable of abandoning your values, and you stayed. Now, another question rises. What if nobody saw this? What if no one thanked you, praised you, or understood the cost of your restraint? Does an unseen choice still change anything? Yes, an action without an audience can reshape the person who performed it. What no one saw today may have changed more inside you than anything people applauded. No one may ever know what it cost you to choose differently. They may never see the message you deleted. They may never hear the secret you protected, but hidden choices still leave evidence. Perhaps you helped someone while your own heart felt tired. Perhaps you admitted your part without adding a defense. Perhaps you ended an argument before a child could hear it. Perhaps you gave quietly. Perhaps you broke a pattern that had traveled through your family for years. These moments rarely receive applause. Yet they shape identity because every private choice teaches you what kind of person you are willing to become. This is what I call the unseen obedience effect. A choice can be invisible to the world and still become visible inside your character. Each time you act from truth instead of impulse, you weaken one pattern and strengthen another. The change may feel small, but repetition gives small choices enormous weight. That is why recognition cannot be the only measure. Public praise can disappear. Gratitude can be withheld. Still, the choice remains yours. God's delight is not a payment you earn by acting perfectly. It is the joy of seeing compassion, integrity, and self-command become active in your life. You did not purchase love through one good action. You revealed what love was teaching you to do. Some of you resist this message because you remember your mistakes. You think one better choice cannot matter after everything you regret. But responsibility and hope can exist together. A different response does not erase what happened. It proves that what happened does not have to be repeated. Real change does not begin when the past disappears. It begins when the past is no longer allowed to choose the next action. So do not call today choice meaningless. Let it become evidence, not ego. Write one sentence for yourself. Today, when I could have reacted, I chose to pause. Today, When I could have exposed them, I chose to protect my peace. Keep the sentence simple. Do not add an explanation. Let one line become a witness to the person you were in that moment. Memory often magnifies failure and minimizes growth. You remember every harsh word, but forget the 5 times you remained calm. You remember the door you reopened, but ignore the one you finally kept closed. A written line corrects that imbalance. It gives your mind proof that another response is available. Now write this in the comments. What happened in silence still matters. Do not write it because strangers must validate you. Write it because hidden obedience deserves to be named when your old identity wants to dismiss it. What happened in silence still matters. And yet, there is a warning inside this truth. People with generous hearts often turn mercy into permission. They forgive, then reopen every door. They choose peace, then abandon themselves to keep it. God is delight. In your restraint is not a command to remain where you are repeatedly harmed. Kindness is not unlimited access. Forgiveness is not the removal of every boundary. This distinction will protect what began in you today. The next step is not only learning how to avoid retaliation. The next step is learning how to stay compassionate without becoming available for the same wound again. God is delight in your restraint is not a command to remain where you are repeatedly harmed. You can forgive someone and still close the door. You can release anger and still refuse access. You can love a soul while protecting your life from the pattern that soul continues to choose. Many generous people confuse peace with permanent availability. They answer every call. They explain the same wound again. They offer one more chance, then blame themselves when the same behavior returns. Their mercy is real, but their boundaries have been trained to disappear. Chosen one, forgiveness and access are not the same decision. Forgiveness addresses what you carry inside. A boundary decides what another person may continue to bring into your future. One can release the past, while the other protects what comes next. A boundary is not revenge. Distance is not hatred. Waiting before you reply is not manipulation. Refusing another argument is not cruelty, because peace does not require you to stand inside the same fire and prove that you are loving. But wisdom gives mercy a structure. Before you agree to anything, let the request pass through 3 quiet gates. First, notice your peace. Does your body remain settled, or does it tighten before your mouth says yes? Second, study the pattern. Is this one painful mistake, or is it the same behavior wearing another apology? Words can sound different while the pattern remains unchanged. Third, count the price. What will this yes take from your sleep, your focus, your health, or your dignity? A loving choice should not require you to disappear. These gates make the hidden cost visible. Then guilt loses some power to choose for you. Mercy can release the past. Wisdom decides what enters the future. Do not make an important decision at the highest point of emotion. Anger can rush you toward destruction. Relief can rush you toward reopening a door. Even inspiration can make you promise more than your clear mind would choose tomorrow. Give the decision space. Sleep before answering when possible. Pray without forcing an immediate sign. Let your body settle. Then ask whether the choice still protects truth, peace, and responsibility. Write this in the comments. Mercy does not require access. This sentence does not harden your heart. It protects your healing from becoming another invitation for harm. You can wish someone well without returning to the place where you repeatedly lost yourself. And now we reach a deeper question. Why is this wisdom so clear in one moment, then almost impossible to reach when you are tired, overwhelmed, or emotionally triggered? Willpower is not the only force involved. The condition of your mind can influence how easily you access the pause. Stress can narrow attention. Exhaustion can weaken reflection. Constant stimulation can make the loudest reaction feel like the only available response. Researchers have studied how different functions of the brain coordinate during attention, creativity, and decision-making. Later, we will return to a simple approach designed to support that coordination. It does not replace faith, prayer, boundaries, or professional care. For now, hold one question. What if you keep losing access to your clearest self, not because your faith is weak, but because the receiver is overloaded when clarity arrives? You may know exactly what is right and still struggle to begin. You finish praying with clarity, but several hours later, the old reaction feels stronger than the truth you received. This can become deeply personal. You call yourself lazy. You question your discipline. You wonder whether God has withdrawn guidance, because wisdom seemed close in the morning and unreachable by the end of the day. But another explanation deserves your attention. The message may be clear while the receiver is overloaded. Your spiritual understanding can be sincere, while stress, poor rest, and divided attention make that understanding harder to hold and apply. This is what I call the sacred receiver. It is your practical ability to receive an insight, remember it, and carry it into action when pressure returns. It does not reduce faith to biology. It simply recognizes that your mind and body participate in every choice you make. Exhaustion matters, attention matters, the condition from which you respond matters. You may not need another message. You may need better access to what the message has already awakened. Think about childhood. Many children move easily between imagination, questions, movement, and play. Then life becomes crowded. Work divides attention. Screens interrupt silence. The mind learns to react quickly, while wonder and deep focus become harder to reach. This does not prove that your gift disappeared. The conditions supporting free attention may simply appear less often. You are not foolish. You may be seeking a clear decision through a mind carrying too much noise. That is why collecting more insight can become frustrating. You hear something true. You feel recognized. You promise to change. Then pressure returns, and the truth becomes difficult to access at the exact moment you need it. The problem is not always the absence of wisdom. Sometimes it is the distance between wisdom and action. There is still one question we have not answered. Why does a truth feel undeniable in one moment, then become almost unreachable when pressure returns? Why can you recognize the person you are becoming, yet lose access to that person before the day ends? The missing piece may not be another belief. It may be the condition from which you are trying to live that belief. Stress and divided attention can make automatic responses easier to repeat. The next step is to create a daily condition that supports clarity, focus, and self-regulation. This approach is for the person who does not want to replace prayer. It is for the person who is not seeking an instant miracle. It is for someone willing to use a short practice while accepting that every decision still requires personal responsibility. The clarity you touched today was real, but clarity remembered is not yet clarity embodied. Earlier, I asked whether the receiver might be overloaded when clarity arrives. Now you understand the shape of that problem. A tool cannot make you wise. It cannot forgive for you. It cannot set your boundary. But the right support may help create a quieter condition in which attention becomes easier to direct and insight becomes easier to use. The next part will explain one 8-minute audio practice designed around that goal. You will hear what it is, what its creator says it is designed to do, and what it cannot honestly promise. Listen with discernment. You do not need pressure. You need enough clarity to decide whether the method belongs in your daily life. Now I want to close the loop that has remained open. I told you there was an approach connected to how different functions of the brain coordinate. I waited because a solution only becomes useful after you understand the problem it is meant to support. The problem is not that you lack value. The problem is not that you lack faith. The problem is that insight can arrive while attention is scattered, stress is high, and the receiver is struggling to hold what matters. Research into the divided functions of the brain gained worldwide attention through the work of Roger Sperry. His split brain research contributed to the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1981. That history does not prove that any commercial audio must work. It does show that different brain systems can contribute differently to language, space, images, analysis, and perception, while healthy action depends on coordination across the whole system. This is the bridge. The goal is not to make one side of your brain stronger than the other. The goal, described by the creators, is to support a more coordinated mental state, where focus and creative thought may become easier to access. Before I tell you the name, consider two reported experiences. A nurse from San Diego said she had already tried prayer, journaling, and meditation. She understood what she believed, but still felt disconnected from it during ordinary life. After using the audio, she reported feeling clearer and more present. That is her experience, not a guaranteed result. It should be heard as a personal account, not as medical proof. A business owner from Houston described brain fog that had become so normal he barely noticed it. After using the practice, he reported that decisions felt clearer and daily work felt easier to approach. Again, that report does not promise the same outcome for you. It shows why some people who feel mentally scattered have chosen to try this method. The audio is called The Genius Switch. It is a digital audio track lasting 8 minutes. The creator describes it as using neural sync technology with the goal of supporting coordination across the brain. You listen with headphones. You can close your eyes and relax. The suggested routine is once each day, and the practice does not require mantras, written affirmations, or a long meditation session. This is not presented here as medical treatment. It does not diagnose brain fog. It does not replace sleep, therapy, medical care, prayer, or disciplined action. It is also not being positioned as a common binaural recording or a gamma track. The product is presented as a different kind of targeted auditory sequence, designed around whole brain coordination rather than a simple brainwave promise. That distinction matters, especially if you have tried free audio tracks before and felt nothing changed. Your skepticism is reasonable. You should never purchase because a spiritual message made you feel pressured. This is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who is tired of collecting insight without creating a daily condition where insight can become action. Buying it does not make you more chosen. Refusing it does not make you less faithful. The only useful question is whether an 8-minute support practice fits the way you want to protect your attention. The official offer includes lifetime digital access. According to the product information, the listed price is $49. While the current page presents a price of $39. The page also includes 4 bonuses. They are a guided visualization, a smart grocery shopping guide, a classic manifestation book, and a 5 habits infographic. These materials may support reflection, planning, and daily reminders. They do not guarantee changes in money, love, health, happiness, or savings. The offer also states that it includes a full money-back guarantee under the terms shown on the official page. Read those terms before purchasing, because guarantees are useful only when you understand how they work. The page may change its price or bonus structure. Do not buy because of a false countdown. Check the current details and decide from calm judgment rather than urgency. Use only the official page linked in the description or pinned comment. The product information says the genuine digital version is not distributed through YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, or random upload sites. That warning helps you avoid altered copies and unrelated recordings. If the method feels aligned, review the official page carefully. Read the details, review the guarantee, then decide from clarity, not pressure. And hear this clearly. The product is not the condition for receiving this message. God is not withholding love until you purchase something. You can still create an 8-minute receiving window without buying anything. Turn off notifications, sit quietly, and review the one decision you want to protect that day. A tool can support the receiver. It cannot make the decision for you. It cannot tell the truth for you. It cannot forgive for you. It cannot hold the boundary when pressure returns. That work still belongs to you. The real invitation is not to chase a feeling. It is to build a daily condition where your clearest self has a better chance to speak before the oldest reaction takes control. You already proved that this self exists. You met it in the pause. You felt it when anger rose and wisdom answered first. Now, the question changes. How do you turn one sacred moment into a pattern strong enough to become your new identity? A tool can support the receiver. It cannot make the decision for you. It cannot tell the truth for you, hold the boundary for you, or choose peace when the old reaction begins to rise. That part still belongs to you. One different response is evidence. Several different responses begin a pattern. A pattern protected long enough starts to become identity, because your mind learns that the old road is no longer the only road available. This is how change becomes visible. Not through one dramatic promise, not through one emotional night. It becomes visible through small decisions that keep pointing in the same direction. For the next 3 days, look for 3 kinds of proof. Notice one reaction you delayed. Notice one decision that became clearer. Notice one boundary you held without needing anger to hold it for you. Do not use these 3 days as a deadline. Use them as a window of observation. You are gathering evidence that your response can change before your circumstances become perfect. The first proof may be simple. A message arrives, and you wait before answering. The second may feel practical. You begin the first step of something you have avoided. You say no without writing a long defense. You let the other person feel disappointed while you remain honest and calm. This is where calling becomes practical. A calling is not only a powerful feeling during prayer, it is also the ability to stay present long enough to complete what has been placed before you. Imagine tomorrow morning. You sit down with the task you have postponed. Your mind feels resistance, but you do not wait for perfect inspiration. You begin with one clear step, then another. You remain with the work long enough for movement to replace dread, and the unfinished thing begins to lose its power over you. That is a new agreement with your attention. Now imagine a difficult conversation. You do not prepare a speech designed to force understanding. You choose one true sentence, one clear boundary, and one peaceful ending. You allow their reaction to belong to them. You do not chase them for agreement. You do not abandon yourself because someone dislikes the limit you set. This is embodied clarity. It does not make every relationship easy. It makes your place inside the relationship more honest. For those who recognize themselves in the sacred receiver pattern, the 8-minute audio is available through the official page below. For everyone else, protect a daily window where your clearest mind can become easier to access. At the end of each day, ask 3 questions. When did I react from the old version of me? When did I create a pause? What must I protect tomorrow so wisdom has a better chance to speak first? Keep your answers short. Honesty works better than performance. The goal is not to judge the day, but to understand what helped you remain present. Soon, I will give you a name for the person learning to live this way. It is more specific than chosen one because it describes what you are becoming able to protect. Before that name is revealed, you must cross one final doorway. Place both feet on the floor. Let your shoulders drop. Release your jaw. Do not do this practice while driving, operating equipment, or doing anything that requires your full attention. Take one slow breath. Notice the air entering your body. Notice the floor beneath you. You do not need to solve the past or predict what anyone else will do. Imagine a quiet hallway with 2 doors. The first door leads back to the reactions you already know, Behind it are the words spoken too quickly, the apologies you never owed, and the patterns that kept repeating because they felt familiar. The second door does not promise a life without pain. It leads toward a life where pain is no longer allowed to make each decision. You do not need to destroy the older version of yourself. That version learned how to survive. You only need to stop giving it unlimited access to your future. Picture the message you almost sent. Picture the argument you nearly continued. Picture the weight you have carried long after the moment ended. Now, place that weight on the floor in front of the first door. Do not deny it. Do not excuse it. Simply decide that you will not carry it through the second door. You can honor what the pain taught you without obeying everything it demands. You can remember the warning without rebuilding your life around the wound. Place one hand over your chest. Feel the movement beneath your hand. Your body can remember fear without becoming fear. Your body can feel anger without surrendering choice. Say this slowly. I can feel the reaction without becoming the reaction. Again. I can feel the reaction without becoming the reaction. Let the sentence move deeper. You are not forcing the feeling away. You are creating enough space to choose what happens after the feeling arrives. Now imagine your hand reaching for the second door. You do not know every detail beyond it. You only know what you are refusing to bring with you. You leave behind the need to prove your pain. You leave behind the need to win every misunderstanding. You leave behind the belief that peace must be earned through exhaustion. Step through. Feel the space around you become quieter. Nothing magical has erased your responsibilities, but you are standing where your next response can still be chosen. See yourself moving through tomorrow from this place. You answer more slowly. You listen without disappearing. You protect your energy without becoming cold. The name I promised is waiting on the other side. It belongs to the person who protects the space between the wound and the consequence. Take one more breath. Let the old fire settle. Let wisdom move closer. You are ready to hear the name of who you are becoming. Chosen one, you are not only someone who survived the reaction, you are becoming the guardian of the pause. The guardian of the pause stands between the trigger and the consequence. This person protects the space where truth, mercy, and wisdom can enter before pain takes control. What happened today did not prove that you are perfect. It proved that the old reaction no longer has authority. It proved that another response exists inside you. That response must now be protected. Protect it with honesty. Protect it with boundaries. Protect it with rest, attention, and the willingness to pause before the past speaks through you again. Let us close in prayer. God, thank you for the choice no one else may have seen. Thank you for the moment when pain rose, but pain was not allowed to rule. Give this person wisdom that does not become fear. Give them mercy that does not become self-abandonment. Give them peace that does not depend on being understood. Give them courage to set the boundary. Give them clarity to recognize the old reaction before it takes control. Give them humility to use tools without turning any tool into an idol. Strengthen their attention, steady their heart. Help them choose again tomorrow, not through shame, but through an agreement with who they are becoming. Now speak these words with me. I am not the reaction that once controlled me. I am allowed to pause. I am allowed to tell the truth without becoming cruel. I can forgive without reopening the door. What happened in silence still matters. My clearest self is not gone. I will protect the condition where wisdom becomes action. The cycle does not have to continue through me. I am the guardian of the pause. Write that in the comments. I am the guardian of the pause. Do not write it to place yourself above anyone. Write it as a commitment to stop giving pain automatic control over your next decision. For those choosing the 8-minute support practice, the official Genius Switch page is in the description and pinned comment. Review it carefully and make the decision from peace. Now return to the first image, the message you did not send, the cruel sentence you did not release. the reaction you interrupted before it became another wound. Those few seconds were evidence, not evidence that the struggle is over, but evidence that the past is no longer your only available choice. That is why what you did today mattered more than anyone around you may ever understand.